Hi, my Bitcoin followers. Blockchain seems complicated, and it definitely can be, but its core concept is really quite simple. Well, stick around because in today's video, we will be showing you a complete process of how blockchain of Bitcoin works. Without further ado, let's begin. Blockchain is a decentralized ledger of all transactions across a peer-to-peer network. Using this technology, participants can confirm transactions without a need for a central clearing authority. Potential applicants can include fund transfers, settling trades, voting, and many other issues. Miners create new blocks on the chain through a process called mining. In a blockchain, every block has its own unique nonce and hash, but also references the hash of the previous block in the chain, so mining a block isn't easy, especially on large chains. Miners use special software to solve the incredibly complex math problem of finding a nonce that generates an accepted hash. Because the nonce is only 32 bits and the hash is 256, there are roughly 4 billion possible nonce hash combinations that must be mined before the right one is found. When that happens, miners are said to have found the golden nonce, and their block is added to the chain. Making a change to any block earlier in the chain requires remining not just the block with the change, but all of the blocks that come after. This is why it's extremely difficult to manipulate blockchain technology. Think of it as safety in math, since finding golden nonces requires an enormous amount of time and computing power. When a block is successfully mined, the change is accepted by all of the nodes on the network and the miner is rewarded financially. From a business perspective, it's helpful to think of blockchain technology as a type of next-generation business process improvement software. Collaborative technology such as blockchain promises the ability to improve the business processes that occur between companies, radically lowering the cost of trust. For this reason, it may offer significantly higher returns for each investment dollar spent than most traditional internal investments. Financial institutions are exploring how they could also use blockchain technology to append everything from clearing and settlement to insurance. Nodes known as miners serve the purpose of validating Bitcoin transactions and securing the blockchain ledger. In the traditional banking system, when you send money from your bank account to another bank account, the banks act as trusted intermediaries, deducting funds from one account and adding them to another. With Bitcoin, centralized intermediaries are replaced by a trustless network of miners. Miners compete to solve a computationally intensive proof-of-work puzzle. The winning miner is rewarded with a set of Bitcoin plus network transaction fees called the block reward. One miner wins the block reward roughly every 10 minutes, regardless of the amount of processing power that miners collectively bring to bear on the network. More processing power only increases a miner's chances of winning. It does not speed up the competition. Miners cannot accelerate or otherwise alter Bitcoin's deterministic supply schedule. Here's the important part. If any of the transaction data is altered by even the smallest amount, like a Satoshi, which is 0.000000001 BTC, the hash output will change. As a result, a majority of miners will fail to reach consensus around any nonce that solves the puzzle using tampered transaction data. This prevents a dishonest miner from winning and encourages miners to act scrupulously with their precious computational resources. If you're enjoying the video, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos about Bitcoin. The Bitcoin blockchain refers to the data stored in blocks of information that are then linked together in a permanent chain. A block is a collection of Bitcoin transactions from a specific period. Stacks of blocks are stockpiled on top of each other, with each new block relying on the previous ones. As a result, a chain of blocks is formed, giving rise to the word blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain is also decentralized, meaning it is not stored in one master computer or controlled by one company. It is distributed on many computers that are in the network. In the Bitcoin blockchain, there are codes called a hash. A hash is unique to each block in the blockchain. Hashing allows every network user to identify each block and directs them to move in the chain since every block has its own hash and a previous block's hash. Bitcoin represents a digital, trustless form of money alongside a movement to decentralize financial services. Before Bitcoin, there was a need for a trusted third party to keep a ledger, the record-keeping system of a company's or person's financial data to record who owned how much. Everyone has a copy of this ledger with a Bitcoin network, so there's no need for third parties. Every Bitcoin transaction happens in the Bitcoin blockchain network, which is the digital space where Bitcoin mining and hash power generation occur. Hashing power is the processing power used by your computer or hardware to perform and solve various hashing algorithms. These algorithms are used to create new cryptocurrencies and allow them to trade with one another. This process is called mining. We can also use blockchain as a digital ledger of duplicated transactions distributed across the blockchain's network of computer systems. Each block on the chain contains several transactions, and whenever a new transaction occurs on the blockchain, a record of that transaction is added to the ledger of each participant. This distributed database is managed by multiple participants using a technology called Distributed Ledger Technology, DLT. Blockchain is a type of DLT in which transactions are recorded using an immutable cryptographic signature known as a hash. The transactions are then organized into blocks. Each new block includes a hash of the preceding one, effectively chaining them together, which is why distributed ledgers are commonly referred to as blockchains. Fiat money, like US dollars in your bank account, is backed and regulated by the government that issues it. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is powered through a combination of peer-to-peer technology, a network of individuals. This creates a currency backed by code rather than items of physical value, like gold or silver, or by trust in central authorities like the US dollar or Japanese yen. Each Bitcoin is basically a computer file which is stored in a digital wallet app on a smartphone or computer. People can send Bitcoins or part of one to your digital wallet, and you can send Bitcoins to other people. Every single transaction is recorded in a public list called the blockchain. This makes it possible to trace the history of Bitcoins to stop people from spending coins they do not own, making copies or undoing transactions. Nodes play an important role in verifying new transactions and ensuring that funds end up where they are supposed to without being spent twice, also known as double spending. The nodes of a cryptocurrency network are responsible for carrying out this specific process of verification, which is governed by the network's protocol. In other words, the Bitcoin network is the sum total of all the decentralized nodes that carry out the Bitcoin protocol. When a protocol is updated, the individual nodes upgrade and accept the new changes. If some of the nodes reject the changes, then a crypto fork takes place. Sometimes the update in question is more or less optional, and sometimes it's mandatory. The optional type of fork is known as a soft fork, and the mandatory type is known as a hard fork. Some people like the fact that Bitcoin is not controlled by the government or banks. People can also spend their Bitcoins fairly anonymously. Although all transactions are recorded, nobody would know which account number was yours unless you told them. Every transaction is recorded publicly, so it's very difficult to copy Bitcoins, make fake ones, or spend ones you don't own. So guys, let me know down in the comment section below what new information you got from this video. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome and interesting videos related to Bitcoin. Have a nice day and I will see you in the next video.